there's people like on my hangar row that have smaller airplanes that have tugs. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch this, but I've grown tired of that, and and so this thing has like changed my life, my airplane life experience for sure.
This is the 21.5 Show.
You're on 121.5, the emergency frequency.
Whether you're a professional pilot or want to be one, you're in the right place.
Let's get started.
Join professional aviators Dylan and Max as they talk their experience in the airlines, business aviation, and more.
Life is good.
Industry experts, unique stories, and plenty of fun. This is the 21.5 Show.
Here we go.
Max, we are so excited to be joined by our friends and partners from AeroTow. Megan Tuttle, she's the account manager, and Jordan Thieme, director of operations, here to share a little bit about a new product they have for us pilots to save, we're getting older, save our backs a little bit. We used to think we were young and strong. We didn't need any help, but maybe we're a little wiser now. We know. Welcome to the program, Megan and Jordan. So excited to learn a little bit more about your company and how you're planning to save Max and my back for the long term.
Glad we can help.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Let's start off just a little bit. Jordan, can you tell us a little bit about what AeroTow is?
Yeah, so we make small airplane tuggers. Anything from the small T1 up to our new T2 that we launched. It's actually a company that we acquired, I think 3 years ago now.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, from a guy in Wisconsin, and have been running with it ever since.
Awesome. So originally the company AeroTow was started by a guy who just developed these in his garage, or where did that come from?
Yes, very much in his garage.
Yes.
I trained in his garage with him. And he got started in it because he's a lifelong pilot. He wanted to start doing it, had a business. He was, I believe, 75 years old, and he was looking to retire. So through a mutual supplier, we got connected and met with him, and he said he wants the business to go to a good company that will do right by it. And he picked us.
That's awesome. So what's the parent company, Amigo? What do you guys do?
Our main company is Amigo Mobility International in Bridgeport, Michigan. And it's second generation. I am currently second generation along with my older sister, Jen, and then my mom and dad. So my dad actually built the world's first powered mobility scooter back in 1968.
Oh, really? The first one was you guys? Wow.
Yeah, and he was a plumber by trade. And we're actually in one of our meeting rooms right now that's called our library. But he had a family member who had multiple sclerosis and had to be pushed in a wheelchair. She hated it. He couldn't find anything, so he built the first one.
Wow. That's like no small feat back then, too, because it wasn't like the availability of components and parts just on Amazon or whatever to put something together is not.
Oh,
like
Amazon
it is
didn't
now,
exist back in the
so.
60s? Is that what you're saying? Max?
No. And he's a high school dropout. That's why this is called the library, because he dropped out of school and but big time reader of books.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, and at the age of 87, he's still working full time.
Wow.
No kidding.
Yeah,
so
he's setting the bar really high for me.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, think about how big your 401k will be by the time you retire. You've got a lot of time to
Yeah, when you're a lot of time to save.
Well, and I started working full time when I was 8, so.
Did you really? In the family business? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Well, it's funny. So, I mean, it kind of sounds like a lot of similarities, right? Between mobility, you've got wheels, you've got batteries, and so it kind of makes sense to combo it in with an aircraft tug. So, were you out looking to try and make a tug yourself? Like, was it like more the business kind of fell into your lap and you're like, oh, okay, this looks like a good idea?
It really just fell into our lap. I mean, so like you said, batteries, wheels, motors, that's our jam. We're really big in the grocery industry. So you'll see us at most grocery retailers across the United States for helping people to shop. So we have that commercial quality. If you go to a Walmart, you'll see our products, we'll say get tested. So we're used to the abuse that you get in, an unforgiving environment.
Yeah, I think Max's 14-year-old son has probably tested your product a few times with some of his buddies.
Haven't we all? I mean, you have to do that kind of testing, right?
Yeah, I never rode on one of those in college either.
Now you have to.
It can hold a lot of beer, it turns out. Very robust frame.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
That's funny. So just you got randomly introduced to this guy that had invented this product?
Yeah, so he was looking to get out of the business. We both used the same controller company, and he had talked to a few other companies, and it just wasn't the right feeling. It was his baby, and so he met with us. I went over there and met with him, and then we ended up he had a friend who said, hey, you should really have a lawyer do this. You're selling your business. And the lawyer came back with like a 19-page legal agreement that made no sense. So he tore it up, and we sealed the deal on a handshake and a one-page letter of agreement.
Old school.
Yeah. And
Just
it
a
was
couple of
handshake
Midwest
deal,
boys
and
making a deal
yeah.
in the guy's garage in Wisconsin, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. When I actually had to take a picture of the door frame on the going into his office from the garage area into the office, because that's where he recorded all of his serial numbers. Yeah. But it worked. I mean, he was awesome at it. He built a darn good product, and we're lucky to be able to take that over.
Yeah,
How many-
it is super cool. So AeroTow has sent a T1 to us to try out, and so my airplane, it weighs 2,000 pounds empty, so it's pretty big for a small airplane. And then I'm cheap, so a lot of times I'll put a bunch of gas on it, like a town where I go a lot, and then so I'll park it in the hangar with a bunch of gas too. So it ends up being pretty heavy, and I kind of used to pride myself on like being able to pull this thing out by myself. It's a lot.
No,
bigger
he
than
would
other
invite me
people.
along because I'm like, oh, that's so fun. I'm going to go on an airplane ride. It's like, no, 90% of the reason I was there was to push it in
You're
and
the
out.
muscle.
I found it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and so
Yeah.
there's people like on my hangar row that have smaller airplanes that have tugs. I'm like, oh, watch this, but I've grown tired of that, and and so this thing has like changed my life, my airplane life experience for sure. And so it's pretty cool. So you get this thing, you send them the dimensions of, like, mine is a tailwheel airplane, so it mounts to the tailwheel, which isn't entirely conventional, I don't think, for a tug, but it works. And so you send them the dimensions of and kind of what you have, and I took some pictures, and they build the ends that clamp onto the tailwheel specific to your airplane. And yeah, it worked perfect right out of the box. And it's it's heavy, but I did have help loading it into the back of my truck. But when I got to the airport, somebody was coming, but I was too excited to try the thing out, so I just heaved it off by myself. And I think it weighs like 150 pounds. It's not that bad. Like it's doable if you lift heavy stuff. Sometimes.
He's just trying to throw out humble brags left and right. Jeez.
Yeah, right. So anyway, yeah, it's really cool. So was the T1 did you guys, or were these existing designs, both models, or was that from the original AeroTow guy?
So we kept the design of the T1 the same, kind of the first year into the business, just getting our feet wet and trying to learn more about it. But we did redesign it. So like the one that we sent you has like those standard dolly wheels, the adjustable handle, the fork assembly, everything like that, being able to remove the batteries. We kind of redesigned it so it was that way.
Got it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You mentioned those. So the thing with the Tug is that it's slow. It's supposed to be, like, because you don't want to be putting your airplane in the hangar fast, right? But when you push the airplane out and you get it to where you want to then disconnect the Tug, a bummer of most Tugs is that then you have to walk at a mile an hour back into the hangar pushing this thing. Well, they put these little wheels on the back, so you just tilt it back on the dolly wheels, and then you just, you don't have to power it back. You just push it back into the hangar at whatever pace you want. That is awesome. Like,
Knowing you,
that
I feel like you're gonna run it back. I mean,
Depends on
now
where
you don't
I'm
have
going.
to push it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're going to put this 14-year-old kid that we talked about earlier to work. He's going to be fully checked out on this tug soon, and he'll be the
Yeah,
one.
maybe I'm pushing it out of the hangar, not
Yeah,
so much on the
but returning
in
it
the
would be
hangar.
good. Here, you want to joyride something? Here
It's
you go.
kind of
buddy.
like a tractor, dude. You could do a lot of damage at very low speed.
Yeah.
Like just
Oh yeah, I know. When we
In
first
slow
got
motion.
into this, there was a local airport with a, I think it was a Citation 4, and we were testing out one of our big models, and they let me hook up to it in the hangar, and they said, "Oh, you can move it around." I think I moved it 2 inches, and I went, "I'm good. Like this is way above my pay grade. I'll let the owner of the plane use it if he wants to, but I'm out."
I was
Yeah.
holding my breath the entire time.
yeah, right. You
Oh,
should have
yeah.
had him hook it up outside of out on the ramp.
Yeah. Well, and then remember it started leaking,
Yes.
and they were saying I caused the problem, and it was
Oh,
just
no.
the ice chest because I had moved it.
They're
started
messing
leaking.
with you. That's funny.
Yeah, it was funny after the
What
fact.
did you do?
Yeah. Welcome to aviation, Jordan. That'll be $9,000 to fix that.
Yeah, and then they sent you out to go
Exactly.
find some flight line. That's
Yeah,
the next,
exactly.
the next running joke.
So you did do a little reworking. How many models of the original AeroTow are out there that this guy built in his garage? Do you know?
Oh man, I'm trying to picture them written on that door frame.
You think
I'd probably
hundreds?
say, yeah, probably a couple hundred just
Hundreds,
from
yeah.
what was on it. And it was, he did a darn good job designing it. It was his
Mhm.
passion, so he just knew it.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So we've got the T1 that Max and I have used out there for folks that own their own small airplane. But even the weight capacity on that, I think, is still what can the T1 handle?
5,000
Yeah,
pounds,
it's
dude.
5,000, which is
5,000.
significant. I mean, if you have shopped in the tow marketplace like Max has, you know that's significantly higher than most of the comparable models, right, Max?
Yeah, like the entry level, like small airplane kind of tugs. Most of them are not even close to that. So, I mean, my airplane would exceed the capacity of a lot of the entry level ones, and it's not even like not even close.
Yeah.
On this one, so it's pretty cool. It's like a 0.5 horsepower motor. It everything is well suited. Like I said, it says on here it weighs 130 pounds, so I was close. 150-ish is what I was guessing. But
I was trying to brag. I was trying to pump his
Yeah, right.
numbers up. If you guys haven't
I'm
figured
surprised
that
he
out,
didn't say
he's
it was
just-
actually 200.
Yeah.
yeah, it felt like
Well, listen,
it only felt like 50.
I
honestly.
deadlift
I just
350 every
one-handed it.
morning.
It was
Yeah,
like
no
stuffing.
factor.
It's no
Yeah.
problem.
Now that I think about it, I put it in there too.
Yeah, with one arm. I'm
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
with
right.
it was a
Right.
snatch, really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then I just dropped it in. So it's pretty cool though. Like, and I was like, the way my tail wheel is kind of set up, it's like a bolt, and it doesn't stick out very far on one side, and just a nut. And I'm like, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work, like, because it's a lot of force, like, to push that. I was like worried it was gonna slip off or whatever, and I clamped it on there, and it like worked just like it should. It hasn't come off, and it pushed it out like with a big smile on my face because it's this nice slow push. I'm like, this is so easy.
Yeah. And what's cool with that is, let's say you have an airplane we've never hooked up to before.
Mhm.
With a couple of measurements, pictures, things like that, we do all the fabrication work right here in Bridgeport. So everyone you see is made right here.
Yeah, wow, it's because those are they're machined right there in house, right? The ends that clamp on there. So
Mhm.
Really,
it's
the
pretty
whole
cool.
the whole unit, even like the metal fabrication we do on site. We outsource like the wheels, the motor, the battery, the controller, but all the fabrication work is done right here.
Wow. So like when you made mine, did you guys from the ground up build it, or do you have frames and stuff on the shelf? And
Oh yeah, we have them on the shelf.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, no, we made yours just for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's what.
Hand me
yeah,
that
extra
welder,
care.
honey.
Isn't that? I thought with the
Yeah.
engraving on the side of the logo. Yeah.
Dang, should have thought of next time.
Next time.
We have done custom units before. We did a Top Gun one a few years
was
ago at
cool.
Oshkosh.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Oh wow. I
Oh,
didn't-
will you send me
Yeah.
a picture of that? I want to post
yeah,
that.
I
yeah, I
will.
want to see
cool.
that. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. So we've got the T1, the entry level, and then there is the T2. Now, this one looks a little bit more sophisticated, maybe a little bit more streamlined, and obviously at much larger weight capacity. So was this something that you guys kind of learned the principles from the one that you acquired, or was this one also designed by the gentleman that you bought the company from?
So the T2 that you see right now on our website, that one is our redesigned. There was a previous T2 that was the original owner's design that we did sell for a few years, and that one did really well. But we were looking to, so we had the T1, T2, and then our T3, which was the largest tug that we offered. We wanted to kind of combine the T2 and the T3, something that would be able to move around 15,000 pounds. So we redesigned it so it has a universal cradle. So it's able to accommodate a lot of different aircraft, where the T2 before, it had
Like little cups, almost like the T1.
almost like the adapters that you see on the T1. It just were larger in size to fit, larger aircraft. And so that kind of became a little cumbersome trying to figure out for all the different planes. So the universal cradle is kind of where we settled and think that it will work out much better.
Yeah, so the cradle is more like the T2 is more like electro type tugs you see at FBOs and stuff with the winch, and it pulls it onto the cradle, the nose gear, and then you drive around. But I mean, 15,000 pounds, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's like King Airs, like you're
King
doing
Airs, citations.
A scary amount of weight.
Stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the value of the plane goes up exponentially.
Yeah, with the weight, right?
Yeah.
Pound for pound.
Have you learned that there's a really interesting rule of thumb in aviation? Maybe you've learned this. Whatever part or component is associated with a plane, you need to add 1 0 to it.
Yeah.
That's how you figure, windshield should be $3,000. No, it's $30,000. Everything like that is, any repair, everything is just, it's by one order of magnitude more. But
yeah, that's what I hear. It's wait, we should start doing it with our product, right?
yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah.
Does it work with us too?
I don't know. We'll find out. Let us know.
Yeah.
Well, you guys said add a 0, so we're going to resend that invoice.
Okay.
Right, it's very popular now. Thank you.
Let's take a time out from our conversation to talk about another friend of ours, Timothy P. Pope, who's a certified financial planner dedicated to guiding professional pilots through smart financial planning. Whether it's saving for retirement, investment management, a seamless military transition, or strategic tax planning, Tim is your trusted financial partner. Join Tim as he leads engaging discussions on personal finance strategies for professional pilots on the Pilot Money podcast. Timothy P. Pope, helping professional pilots make the most out of life. So you mentioned that you went to Oshkosh. So it sounds like you're getting a little bit plugged into aviation. You've had to learn a little bit about the industry. So did you acquire the company and then say, I guess we've got to learn about a whole new segment? Or was somebody secretly into aviation already, and this was sort of a Trojan horse to get into the business? Or what's been your experience figuring out the aviation business?
Well, so I've always wanted to fly. I'm actually hopefully going to be starting my ground school here in the next few months. So it was a little bit of both. Full disclosure, I wanted to get into it, and this opportunity fell into our laps. We weren't looking for it.
Right.
But then I thought, if we bought an aviation company and we started selling these, I have to get my pilot's license. I mean, It just makes sense. So, it all kind of worked out. And then Megan just got thrown into it, and we're like, yeah, you got to figure out how to sell it now.
It's
Welcome
been fun.
to the business.
Oh, and she's done awesome. And, who knows, maybe you can get your license next.
There you go. It's all, I'm not an accountant, but I'm pretty sure that's all a write-off, Jordan. Maybe check with your dad on that one. I think somehow there's a way to.
That should obviously be company sponsored.
Yeah,
there's a good chance they would laugh me out of the office on that one.
I just did a podcast. The guys told me.
They said it's a write-off. I'm pretty sure they're experts.
Pretty sure they know
Also,
what
we're
they're
going to add a
talking
0 to everything.
They are pilots and all.
Yeah.
So Megan, you went to Oshkosh then and have displayed the unit before?
I did, yeah. So I went for a couple years. Jordan, you went.
Yeah.
For a little bit, yeah. So we displayed the units, had them out for people to demo.
Weren't you at Sun and Fun too?
I did not go to Sun and Fun, but your mom and dad, and I think Jen did.
I think my sister did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wintertime in Florida. I can see that one's probably a popular one to attend.
Very popular.
Yeah. Oshkosh was pretty cool.
Very
I went
cool.
once. I was only able to make it for a day, and it was overwhelming. all the stuff there and the options. And,
It's the circus of aviation, man.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's crazy. And all the planes there.
All
the
I couldn't
planes.
imagine flying in there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So Max's airplane. So the Oshkosh is the EAA, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association, where most folks build their planes, and that's what Max has is one that was built.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So that's part of. So one of these days we're gonna do a double whammy because we really want to fly Max's plane there somehow.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We're waiting for our friend Tim Pope to figure out how we can do that as a write off also. So we got a lot of
I
write
don't
offs.
think that's the problem. It's the long flight.
A lot of time.
It's really standing in our way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because you're in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
No,
say
it
you should
wouldn't be
fly
that
up here,
bad.
but
Yeah.
that might take you a minute.
It
Yeah.
would take a
It
little
would
while.
take a couple minutes.
It would take a while, but now that we don't have to worry about pushing it in and out of the hangar, I think, Max. That was like
I might just
80%
load
of
that
the
thing in
reason we
back,
didn't do it.
Bring it with.
There you
Tired
go.
of it.
I've had enough. I'm spoiled now.
And then did you bring a few of your mobility scooters to Oshkosh too and do a little 2-for-1?
No.
We did not.
That's then you could really write it
I
off,
really
I
think
feel
you
like. Yeah.
should.
Yeah, like our travel mate,
Mhm.
we have like a fold up model.
Yeah, foldable.
I wonder if that would fit in like a Cessna, like a 182 or something like that.
There you go.
I bet it would.
You should bring
We
that
could
because
check.
I don't know if you noticed at Oshkosh, but there are a lot of a very wide demographic range
Yes.
there.
There's old people. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
It's
exactly.
very diverse. Actually, yeah, I have a bone to pick with you because I fly a private jet. One of the previous jobs I was at, one of the passengers had a mobility scooter, a foldable mobility scooter that was probably yours, that I had to load in and out of an airplane for about 7 years.
Oh, see, if it was hard,
And
it
it was-
definitely wasn't ours.
Okay, yeah, it was your competitors. It was very heavy, and yeah. So, and they put it in a black like trash bag every time, so you could never really see what you were grabbing. It was very frustrating.
That is
So,
weird.
yeah, I'm having a little PTSD right now, so definitely wasn't yours. I'm curious about I know this is not really on the script, but I'm just curious. Family business, that's got to be an interesting dynamic. Can you talk a little bit about what your experience has been, and do you see what are your thoughts on being involved in something like that?
Well, okay, so how off the record are we going to go here? This isn't being like posted online or
No,
anything,
no, no.
right?
No, it's just between us.
This is just a conversation between
That's right.
us.
Private conversation.
That's
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
No, it's so full disclosure. I went to college not planning to be in the business, and growing up, my parents never pressured us. They said, hey, do what you love.
Yeah.
Which I thought was going to be being a dentist. No offense to dentists, but turns out
Wow.
I don't like school at all, and I'm not a huge fan of the dentist. So thankfully that didn't work out. But then came into the business out of college because I needed a job. Jumped around through sales, things like that. It wasn't really my jam. Ended up finding my home on the operations side of the business. So engineering, building the product, doing all the maintenance, the manufacturing. Fell in love with that. And it's been awesome. It has its ups and downs, but for the most part, I would say 98% of the time, I love being in a family business. I have lunch with my parents and my sister every day, and
Wow.
we also try to bring everyone else, make them feel like family. Megan's been here
7 years. Yeah.
We're getting the adoption papers ready, so we'll bring her into the fold next.
Yeah.
All right. Get jumped in.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, it's so encouraging to see that kind of family businesses because you just don't see it much anymore.
No, not
And-
much, especially a family business where they like make everything
Yeah,
like in house.
Yeah, I mean, literally everything. Like, I have a full engineering team. We have 140 employees. Full engineering team, like accounting, the IT, HR, even our customer service. Like when you call customer service, sales, you're gonna get Megan.
Yep.
Customer service, you're gonna get Daniel or
Daniel
John.
or John. Yeah, which I believe you guys have spoken with Daniel before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all right here on site along with the people building our products. So we're really well-rounded. And, we've made a promise to our team. We will always stay family owned. We're not going to sell out. But maybe not family ran all the time. It'll be based on whoever's the best to run it. Thankfully, little insider scoop, I made the cut. Late next year, I'll be taking over as president.
Oh,
wow.
congratulations.
Breaking news released here exclusively. Wow.
You heard it here
It's
first,
awesome.
folks.
That's right. Wow. That is so cool to hear. Well, I'll tell you, my family, 8th generation family business. It only gets harder every generation. So, but that's really cool.
Just gets to be so many people every generation.
Yeah, I got to know, what's the family business?
We make the manual wheelchairs that you push. So we're
really?
competitive. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I know most of the industry, but this is a curveball.
No. We used to be in lumber, and now we're more in real estate and financial services. But
very cool.
But some of the same things that you talked about used to have family leadership. Who's next? Who's going to run the company? And then at some point they said maybe there's actually people outside of the family that would be better to run the company. So definitely an evolution, but it is beautiful, but also a very interesting dynamic. So hats off to you guys. Yeah. Hats off to you guys. That is so exciting. So when you talk a little bit about the manufacturing process and what you're doing, how much overlap is there between the tugs and the chairs? Like, is there a ton of synergy? Like, have you been able to streamline a lot of that kind of stuff?
I think so. I think like our engineering team, they work a lot on, wheels, batteries, motors, all that. So you get a lot of the same technical stuff. We've pulled a lot from our healthcare products, because in there, when you design and build it, you're building for someone to be able to walk. I mean, literally, people can't move without our healthcare products. And then on the flip side, we have to build in the robustness and the ability to handle like a Walmart situation. And then we also design and build industrial product lines. So this is moving people and products in warehouses. So that constant use and abuse in an industrial setting. And so everything we learn in every one of our markets, you end up throwing into this product line, and we get to move airplanes.
All right, guys. We love getting stories out of our guests. Aviation story, non-aviation story, anything that's been interesting in the company. I'd love to get a little nugget. Do you have anything for us, Megan?
I do. So one of our company's core values is treat customers and coworkers like family. And that is something that we really take pride in. So Daniel on our customer service team, which Max, I believe you spoke with him about your T1. So if you call in for any service needs for AeroTow, you'll either get Daniel or John, and they are great, always happy to help. They'll try to troubleshoot over the phone, email, text, you name it. They'll even do video calls with you. So Daniel was working with a customer for maybe a month or so, trying to figure out what was going on with, the rocker switch on his T1. Something wasn't working quite right. The customer, like I think a lot of our customers, they lived maybe 2 hours away from their hangar. And so he only visited maybe 1 week out of the month, 1 or 2 weeks. So it was kind of, the process was ongoing, trying to figure out what's going on, not getting all the dimensions or pictures right away, which is fine. But the customer finally got back with him after, a lengthy period, and kind of told him what was going on in his personal life. He was having some, medical issues, and, just received like a really sad diagnosis and had to have surgery coming up. And so Daniel did the right thing and decided to send him parts at no cost. Got them out there right away, just so that customer would be able to get his T1 working as soon as possible. Like, he was going through a very difficult time and opened up to us. And, that really touched Daniel's heart. Like, he wanted to make sure that this customer got exactly what they needed. And actually this morning, that customer sent us pictures of his wife with his airplane and like wished us happy Thanksgiving. It was very sweet.
That's awesome.
And had his surgery. Everything went well. And he's feeling much better. But yeah, it's
just this morning.
Literally just this morning, I opened my email and Daniel had shared with me the pictures, and I was like, "Oh, wow,
that is so cool."
Yeah, and Daniel didn't even know that I was coming on the podcast today, so he had no idea that I already in my mind was thinking about that story.
How
But
about
yeah,
that for timing?
things like that really hit home, and that's like why we do what we do, and we try to provide the best customer service that we can, because we want to treat everyone like friends and family.
It's such a
Well,
great
that's awesome.
story.
That's a great story. It's it's nice to talk to a good company run by good people that make a good product here in the U.S. for
Absolutely.
change. So we appreciate you guys coming on and what you do, and for sending me a T1 so I don't have to muscle my airplane around anymore.
We're so excited to be partnering with you guys. Max and I have the opportunity to we get sponsorship inquiries from lots of folks, and for us, our thing is we're only going to work with people that the product and the people we believe in, because I don't want to be peddling something that we're not genuine about. It's just not good for anybody. So we're excited to be partnering with you guys. We think your product is really great, and we think that our listeners are going to enjoy it. So we're going to have all of the links for the T1 and the T2 in the show notes. Check it out. Sounds like they can personally get a hold of you, Megan, or the rest of your team. Mm-hmm. Speak to somebody in our country with one phone call. Very rare these days. Mm-hmm. So that is great. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. And it sounds like our listeners will be able to track you down at an air show in the future, potentially.
Hopefully.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
All right. And Jordan, you'll come back and update us on your flight training here in the near future? Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it's going.
I love it. Okay. Step 1, buy Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah. Dude, the new one is insane.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll add that
You might
to my
not even
list.
need to fly.
There you go. It's a write-off. It's a write-off, Jordan. It's all a write-off.
I might need to go talk to the accounting team about all the write-offs you're saying.
It's fine. We'll put it all in an email.
You guys sound very smart today.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, Jordan, Megan, certainly appreciate your time. Again, it's AeroTow. We'll have the link in the show notes, amigoaerotow.com. Here we go. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The statements made in this show are our own opinions and do not reflect, nor were they under any direction from any of our employers.